This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more, live on K4HD Radio TV, Talk 4 Media Radio Podcasting and TV, and Terri, Worldwide TV Network, Women on TV.tv, I-247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, and it's been a hell of a day because everything you can imagine went wrong, and we corrected it all, didn't we, Roxy? Our engineer Carl's not here. Linda, you know what we went like when the last time 4 weeks ago we did the show? That happened today.
No.
Everything. So here's the thing. I'm so happy that my hosts are around. Trixe, I know you're out of the circle. You've been drinking, I think, having fun at the circle there.
I've been at the pool, yeah.
Do anything without this young lady. She creates all of our graphics for all the stuff that we're doing. She would have been here, but look, we're packed. But the other thing about that, Tosh in Miami, Florida, singer-songwriter, she uploads all of our YouTube stuff. Couldn't have done anything without her, too. Linda Steele, Hot Bod, macro-made meals. We're going to talk about that later because we're going to get them delivered here in the next couple of weeks. Aren't we, Linda?
Yes, we are.
This is the lady you want to go to. Nonstop Terri Marie. We got to start with Andrew Cole first. Andrew, who are you? Where you coming from?
I'm Andrew Cole. I'm a singer-songwriter from Liverpool, England.
And filmmaker.
Well, I don't make them. I just point the camera sometimes.
You qualify as a director these days now.
Okay, well, take it.
I say that because I've watched this stuff. All right. Chris, BigChris Flores, tell us who you are.
A BigChris Flores. I'm a producer, songwriter. Only white guy you're going to know got kicked out of Mexico for working without papers. Did the music thing.
And last but not least, I love playing the bass even though I can't play it. I pretend that I'm doing that even though I'm a drummer. I have the utmost respect for anybody who's played it. So Gene Simmons, I say, Gene, if I could play the bass, it wouldn't be like you, it would have been Carol Kay.
Hey, all right.
But then again, now we have the one and only.
Yes, hi, I'm Eva Gardner, born and raised right here in Hollywood, California, and bass primarily, but also singer-songwriter. I have music out and also play with really amazing artists.
Now, so usually I book the shows. I didn't do this one. Andrew Cole did this one. That's what makes it such interesting.
Andrew Cole is the networking king.
Well, no, it was fun because we had a kick-ass show a couple weeks ago. We were talking about Andrew Cole's music. So the girls, you guys didn't see this because we just tested all in studio that day. But this is really cool because guess what it looks like. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Tosh, see that?
Is
vinyl.
Kind of. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a vinyl record.
This is really good. And he was playing his acoustic guitar for us. That's what made it special. So I played this on my little portable Aretha Franklin.
Oh, really? Oh, you got it going?
Yeah, I told you I was going to play it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I got it.
So,
no, you guys can't have it, but he signed it to me too. And Gloria, thanks for chiming in for us for movie reviews and more. So let's start here. We got to start with ladies first. Eva, talk about how you started your bass, your influences with your dad and things like that, because that's a rich history. I'm getting ready to do something with the section. Your dad did a lot of things with these people. So Leland Scar, Kinko, all those people. We're gonna have them in the studio later talking about the performers that actually did all the recording in the studios. 2,200 albums that they recorded on, almost all hits from James Taylor to Phil Collins, and they actually went on tour with these guys. They're the only guys that have done that. 52 years, and Leland loves this place, and he's an iconic bass player. Talk about what is it that makes you special with the stuff that you do.
So I'm a second generation bass player. My father was a bassist from London, England, and was part of the British invasion scene. He was in his first band with Ron Wood. They lived in the same neighborhood. And they were in a band together called the Birds, the British Birds. And he later went on to be in a band called The Creation. And he was in an early version of The Faces with Rod Stewart, recorded with Eric Clapton, just in that scene, that really rich scene of swing in London in the 60s, you know? And so I grew up hearing all of those stories about him being on the road with all of his buddies. And he moved out here to LA, and there wasn't a British pub to drink at in Hollywood. So he opened his own, and it's called the Cat and Fiddle.
Oh,
And
wow.
we,
Which is one of your favorite
I
places
love
to
that.
hang out.
I
Yeah.
love that place.
To hang out there every weekend.
I love that place. Seriously.
oh, awesome. Yeah. So my dad opened the Cat and Fiddle in 1982 in Laurel Canyon originally.
Wow.
Then we moved to Sunset for 30 years, and we're currently on Highland and Melrose in the old Highland Grounds location.
That's great
so,
info.
Yeah, we're almost.
I forgot. I thought
almost
that place
40
was
years.
gone.
No, we took off for a couple years. It took us a minute to find a new
Wow,
spot.
that's very good
but
information.
we're open again. Yeah.
Back to the 90s for me.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was telling you I grew up in Sherman Oaks, so
Yes.
I'm really familiar with it. And my old high school was in Studio City, so totally familiar with that area.
Yeah.
And
So, Linda Steele, let's give you the first question since you're from Chicago. Go ahead.
I don't even know where to start. I am so honored to be here on this show. I only get to get on a show about once a month or so, so I'm so honored to be here. I guess my first question goes to Eva. How did you land those jobs working with those popular musicians?
So, I mean, I started out playing in shitty clubs with just like everybody else, but I was lucky to grow up in LA where there were a lot of crappy clubs. So there were a lot of bands to play in, and also a lot of auditions were happening here too.
Mhm.
So I think just really, they use the word network, but that's part of what we do as artists, right? We create connections with people, and being an artist and being in a band with other people, it's about your connections and your relationships with those people. So it's just a lot of building those relationships over the years, playing a lot of gigs, really putting in the time and the effort and building your chops, and eventually doing a lot of auditions. And sometimes you have luck, sometimes you don't. And I ended up getting very lucky with the people that I played with.
At what point did you work with Cher? She's probably the oldest, or the most popular. Really, she's been around for longer than the others. When did you work with her?
Yeah, I actually worked with her on her I started with her in 2014, and I was with her for a bit, and then did her classic Cher run, which was 50 years of her in the business, and I did the Vegas residency with her for a while. That was in 2017.
Great.
And epic experience.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Chris, talk about why you're here. This is very, very important because there's one thing I really like. I didn't know this because when we first met Andrew, it was one of these things where he came running in. We hadn't met, sort of like how you came in. We hadn't met.
Right.
But he was here. I think I threw him in the middle chair or something like that or whatever. And he was just what he was talking about for I Am No Joke, anti-bullying, people suffering from depression and things like that, which a lot of people went through last year. This is very, very important stuff. Talk about how you started and what you're doing now, and you have a surprise thing to talk about, don't you?
Right. Well, I started off, I lived in Cancun, Mexico for 6 years. My dad was in a pretty big rock group, one of the first rock groups in Mexico called Los Sinners. And so I used to go to the rehearsals or his gigs. And then, make a long story short, I lived in Cancun for 6 years, came out here, got a degree in music, and ended up working over at Babyface's private studio for about a year and a half. I got to work with the Rolling Stones and Boyz II Men and Madonna and Vogue. So all this Latin styles rubbed off on me when I lived in Mexico, and then all this pop R&B styles rubbed off on me when I was working with Babyface. And then I met Cedric the Entertainer, his cousin was my neighbor, and he's like, and I produced a poetry album for him. And he's like, hey, my cousin wants to meet you. And I was like, who's your cousin? He's Cedric the Entertainer. And I was like, oh, Cedric the who? The what? And he's like, oh, he's a comedian. He's going to come over today and meet you. So Cedric came over to my apartment, had my studio in the corner like everybody does when they start off. And well, not everybody, but, and he's like, hey, can you do some reggae? And I was like, sure, I'll do some reggae. He's like, cool, I need one by tomorrow. I was like, okay. So I'll just do this reggae. And turns out he shot it for the original Kings of Comedy. It was called Peanut Butter No Jam. And it went so well that they used it in the movie. He said, come on, let's go to Guitar Center. Took me to Guitar Center one day, spent $10,000 on me, got my studio, never had me sign anything. And then fast forward to the cameraman over here, Sage Flores, was born. And he was going to a preschool, and that's where Slash's kids were going to preschool, or Slash's older son was going to preschool. So we kind of got invited to the parties, opportunity. And it takes a lot of hard work to get lucky. So this was my one day where I was getting lucky. My son was my best networking tool ever, aside from the education. Oh yeah, there was the education too, but networking tool more like it. So Slash says, hey, do you want to score a movie? And I'm like, fuck yeah. It's like, all right, I'll be at your house. We're going to score this movie. So he shows up at my house with his guitar on his shoulder and his little 5-watt Marshall amp. And I was like, we're going to score the movie with that. He's like, hell yeah, we are. So we set it up. I mic it and we do this first song, and ended up, we ended up scoring this movie for a year, we did that for a year. And then after about a year, he's like, hey, do you want to work on my solo album? So I worked on his solo album for a little bit, and we turned all these songs that were for the movie, like some of them. And he's like, went through his Rolodex of singers. He's like, I want to get Ozzy on this one. He calls him Ozzy, says, okay. He's like, I want to get Fergie on this one. Fergie comes over. Okay. He's like, I want to get Chester Bennington on this song. Chester comes over. So, all these people that he got on this album, make a long story short, too late, Chester came over to do a song and ended up doing the scratch vocal on this song, which was Dr. Alibi on Slash's solo album. And to make a long story short, Linkin Park didn't want Chester to release anything while they were doing their album, so they shelved it. And fast forward to 10 years later, I meet Andrew, and Andrew says, hey, I'm doing this documentary film for people who were bullied, and he's like, you hook me up with Slash. And so Slash definitely liked the idea. They did the solo, so it kind of just took off, and everything kind of blew up from there. And so that's kind of it in a nutshell, a big nutshell.
I'm gonna go to Tosh in a minute, but we gotta say hi to a couple people. So these are a lot of your fans out there. So Cybertruck, he's one of our people. But the thing about, if you haven't seen anybody stand on top of his head, just balance on his head, this is one of our guys. So Cybertruck. So we got to say hi to them. Gloria, I've been going back and forth with a couple people here and there. Barbara, hey, out there, she's saying hi to Linda. So Linda's people are in here, and a few others. Marianne. So from that, Andrew, give an idea. Talk about why you're here, why your friends are here. This is really, really important. And then Tosh, we're going to go to you for the next question.
Why I'm here, why my friends are here. I just believe in good music, and I believe in good people. And I think, the two people next to me, you meet good people through good people, and good energy attracts good energy. I think I believe in the power of magnetism, even though some people think that's a bit crazy, but especially Chris has been an integral part of the Bully project in its early days, when everyone thought it was nuts. And it's kind of like this Griswold's vacation to changing the world as a nobody, trying to get 70 icons on a song, like a We Are the World thing, pretending you're Michael Jackson or someone. And Chris just kind of like went for it. I mean, he just kind of believed in it. And Chris has always been like a family friend, and I just think and he's an amazing producer as well, amazing singer-songwriter producer. Not really a singer, I don't know if you're an amazing singer, but how much I owe you for that? I met Eva through a dear friend who lives in the desert from Toronto, called Stu Haydock. Is that how you say his last name?
Mhm.
And he said, you got to meet Eva, man. She's a cool person. You gotta hook up with Eva. She's in, and this was in the middle of COVID when everyone kind of, I mean, a lot of people just went
Is that
silent.
why you went to the desert? You
Yeah.
said you were going to go, so that's how that happened.
Well, I just buggered off to the desert because I was going nuts in the middle of COVID, and I wanted to hang around with some cowboys and cowgirls and pretend I was from some other place, like Back to the Future or something. And there's a place
Cowboy from Liverpool.
Exactly. I've never worn a cowboy hat, so there was a good excuse, and I still haven't. But anyway, I mean, Pioneer Town is like this very crazy place that looks like something from Back to the Future. And there's just a lot of good people there, and there's a lot of great music, and it reminded me of an old village, well, not at all by looks, but an old village in England, where you have these tight communities of musicians, like steel slide players and blues players and stuff. And I just felt like during COVID, everybody was trapped indoors, of course, and there was no music scene, and I was just getting tired of my own, I don't know what you want to call it. Like, you go mad as a scientist in your own lab creating music, and sometimes you need to be refreshed. And so that's why I went to the desert. But then I met up with Eva, and she's amazing, and I had no idea what she did or really anything about you. And was just blown away by her personality and how fresh she is, and really genuine person.
Now I'll pull out my wallet.
No, and then I saw what she did, and I was like, holy shit, this girl, she's played with so many amazing people, and what a great bass player. And she's got her own music out as well, which is like really impressive. So
Thanks,
check
dude.
that out. It's good.
Hey, Tosh, I know you got a question. You had jump in. And girls, feel free to jump in anytime.
I love hearing everyone talk about music, and it makes me so happy, like how everyone has this common ground here today. So hi, I'm Nathasha. So what I wanted to ask was to Chris. Just by listening to your story, your long story short, you've worked with so many big artists. Like what is a moment that that you think back to and you're like, I can't believe that I actually produced this or did this? Like what has been the accomplishment that you're so proud of up to this day?
Okay, I guess the song I'm most proud of is unfortunately not my favorite song, and it was a big project. It was this girl, Bang Bang, we call her. She was living in the train station down in Los Angeles. She passed me a CD, and she just sounded like this, like Janis Joplin with this real witchy type voice. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get her on something. So I had, while I was doing Slash's album, Slash or Gibson would send over guitars for him to try out. And so that was just like, he would come over, I'd have the guitar set up on one of my songs so he could try out his guitar on one of my songs. So he would just try, like he got this one Gibson Firebird with the tremolo bar on it, and he was just jamming on this through the whole song. And I ended up editing it and making it more formatted to the song, and I gave it to this girl. I didn't tell her that it was Slash on there, but she did these incredible lyrics. She's a genius, just happens to be a dumb shit in other aspects. But she did these crazy lyrics, and I sent it over to Slash, and I was like, listen to this. And he's like, wow. And he's like, you got a picture of her? And I sent him a picture. He's like, damn, she even looks like she even looks like she sounds. So I was like, okay, it's not the best song, but Slash is on the song, and this girl just did a great job. I was like, okay, I got to do a video. So a good friend of mine, he's Troy Duffy. He's the writer and director of Boondock Saints. And I go to Troy. I said, hey, if I can get Slash on this song, will you direct it for free? I had $2,000 in my pocket. I'm ready to spend on a black backdrop for this video on a stage, one camera. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'll do it. And so I go to Slash. I was like, hey, if I can get Troy Duffy to do this video, will you be in it for free? I'll give you a couple of grand for the gas for your car. He's like, oh man, actually, no, I didn't even mention the money. He's like, ooh, I'm getting about ready to go on tour and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I got a couple grand for your car. He's like, okay, I need to do it within 2 weeks. So I go to Troy. I was like, hey man, we need to come up with this idea. We need to knock this out in 2 weeks. So in that 2 weeks, We had Panavision donate some cameras. We got 50-foot geodesic dome. We got the behind Central Station, behind the train station in Los Angeles. They donated their spot. We had just the fire department came, and I mean, it was just, we had 50-foot flamethrowers. We had Ron Jeremy, of course, and we shot this video. So 2 weeks after she did this song, she was in this big geodesic dome with people crawling on it and little people running around with the monocles and just this crazy setup. And this $2,000 budget that I had turned into $50,000, and people were just donating stuff. So we got this really, really badass video for a mediocre song, but it's just a really, I mean, it's what everybody comes to Hollywood to do. And it's just, you know, being in the right place at the right time, busting your ass, being a good person to not fucking anybody over, because everybody is doing the same thing. And if you just keep your good name, if you ain't got money, you got to have a name that people can trust. And so I just pulled together all my friends who, you know, I haven't asked for any favors, and everybody came together and did this one song for this one amazing artist. And it just came out great. It came out great. So that's the one thing I'm most proud of. That's the one thing that kind of broke me.
I'm curious to I want to see this video. You talk about flames.
Oh, right. It's called Punch Drunk Lover.
Punk Drunk
if you
Lover.
search for it, you're gonna have to go / Punch Drunk Lover.
Oh, she's gonna search for it. She's probably doing it right now.
But Punch Drunk Lover, I think, was a movie too. I mean, and the movie's way more popular than my song. So
we should get someone to post the link on there. You know, maybe someone can find the link.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good song.
It's a good song. It's not a great song, but it's a good song. Great video.
Brian, you know, I had an opportunity to meet Slash in 2005.
Lucky girl.
Well, I used to be a trashy lingerie girl, so
She still is.
Anyway, well, trashy lingerie, the lingerie store.
Is that the brand, Trashy?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
The trashy girls.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So we, in Los Angeles. So, Flash, when he was with Velvet Revolver, had that concert. Like, I think it was in Hollywood. So they let the Trashy Girls get on stage and dance with Velvet Revolver for like 2 songs. So I got the opportunity to dance on stage with Slash, meet Scott Weiland, and then afterwards we went and had drinks with his wife and Ron Jeremy. So this is back in 2005, and he was one of the coolest people I've ever met.
He is the most down to earth. He's so not famous, you know what I mean? He's just not that
down
guy.
to earth. He was just like, "What do you girls want?" Like he just was. I just remember, like, you know, I didn't get to talk to him for very long, but just to dance on stage with him, that was amazing, because I can't play an instrument. Go dancing is my thing, but I can't. I can't sing, can't play an instrument, but just the experience of being on stage. I mean, to do that is just it's such an experience, like, that I was lucky to have, not being able to be a singer.
Here's a hidden secret. So Slash and Axl were my managers at Tower Video. You can imagine that.
Slash and they were
before they hit big.
That's funny.
They quit, and then like 6 months later, because we knew what they were doing, we were like, yeah, and I was like, I wasn't sure, because I was at Tower 106 at that point when they first came here, and I was like, this could be interesting, and who knew? And then the last time I saw Axl he was at a Fat Burger with his original girlfriend at that point, and I'm like, stay out of trouble. And he started laughing at me because I told you I was going to be someone. I'm like, I never doubted you. And it was really, really funny because I'm always hoping and praying for a lot of our friends' success. You know, I love the girls. I love what Linda has. We're going to talk about macro-made meals in a minute. But I love about these things are what everybody's creating. And I'm honored to have everybody here, because this is how you bring people together and of all the things that we're doing, because we're supposed to be doing this to begin with. And it's an honor to have all you guys here. So, Trixe, let's talk about Amazon Prime, what you're doing. And I know you got a good question there, too.
Hey there, guys. Well, one of my questions is...
Hey, you're going to have to speak up. I think we lost your sound.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Can't hear.
Uh-oh.
Brian, can I interrupt just for a second while we're trying to figure out her sound? I sent you the link to that video.
Uh-oh.
Second link.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go.
Okay. Hi there. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened, but well, yeah. So one of my questions you know, a lot of times musicians, you guys have a lot of disagreements and challenges happen, and you guys break up and then come back together. What have you done to, you know, make things work?
Stop making bands.
Well,
I'm in my, by
I don't
myself
know how
in the
this thing
studio
all
for the last
sounded
20
and how
years.
it
That's
broke
like
up.
too many cooks in the kitchen almost with that, you know?
Yeah, same. I've never been in a band. I've always wanted to be in a band like, you know, U2 or Coldplay or something. I grew up with some friends, but
Yeah.
just always had a band and not been in a band. So you can just, you know,
You're too demanding.
I'm too demanding.
Yeah.
I'm in my own.
You're perfectionist.
I've got a lot of imaginary friends, you see.
Yeah, a lot of imaginary
in
friends.
my band.
Eva, what about you?
Well, I'm what they call the hired gun, and I work for artists whose name is on the marquee, right? The Pink, Cher, Gwen Stefani, and there's a very clear boundary, right? So we're basically there to support the artist, and you got to be on top of your game and be a great person and all those good things, and we know who the boss is, so it's not. We don't have the same ego issues that can happen when everyone's like a member of a
Right.
band.
Oh, there you go.
Good,
There you go.
good point.
Another
Good
level.
points.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
always wondered about that.
Trixie said it again.
I always wondered about that. I didn't know the difference, you know, and how those relationships are, and you know,
Lots of egos. Lots of
yeah,
egos.
the egos. You see, that's what you know. You always hear. I always watch a lot of documentaries on music, and so they always talk about. I just watched one of the ones from Guns N' Roses, and so you hear all the problems they had and what they had against each other and stuff like that, and you hear that a lot with a lot of the musicians and a lot of the bands and stuff. But if you guys are working, you know, separately, I guess, sort of.
Well, being married
Yeah.
to one person is hard enough, let alone being married to 5 people.
Yeah, there you go. That's a lot better to, yeah. I
Hey,
was
Trixie,
just wondering
Trixie,
about
tell
that.
them what you do for Amazon Prime, Custom Trends.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have my show, Custom Trends, covering cars, sports, fashion, and nightlife. And we are definitely coming back with more streaming this fall and winter. And now that things are coming back, you know, and I'm also on Roku TV. We're now being proficient. My new show with sports is on there, and we're just doing a lot of things. And I'm out here in Vegas right now and trying to develop more things as the summer progresses.
Tosh, tell them what you do.
Well, I am a singer. Just started about a year and a half ago. During quarantine was my time to get my shit together and go for what I really wanted to do, which is music and writing and just everything in the entertainment industry. So I've been going at it for about a year and a half. I have a couple songs out. My genre is Latin pop. I love Latin music. So I love creating music that gets people out of their seats and want to dance and just, you know, good vibes all around. And now I'm working on my next single, hopefully coming out by the end of the summer or maybe during the summer. But it's I love it. I honestly love being involved in music, and I feel very happy with myself that I'm doing what I like to do. So
Are you Latin?
that's yes,
Are you,
I am.
Do you sing in Spanish?
Yes, all of my songs are in Spanish, even though I do put a little bit of English in there, you know, got a little bilingual, but Spanish is what I sing.
Nice.
Linda Steele and Macrame Meals. Talk about it. Go ahead.
Macrame Meals is my newest baby. I've been in the fitness industry for about 18 years now and owned a gym back in 2010. From there, sold it in 18 and I just acquired it back. But in the meanwhile, my daughter actually is the one who started this food prep company. And she started it based on my clients. They all wanted her to start cooking for them because they saw her helping me and my other daughters as well, helping me with our family meal prep every week. And the clients came forward and said, hey, this is great. Will you cook for me? And I said, I certainly do not have time. And my daughter said, I'm doing it. I'm starting a business. So she did. And she brought me on as the nutrition expert. So we have been going strong now for, my gosh, since the beginning of the year. And she's doing great. It's really going well. And yes, Brian, I'm going to make sure that we get some of those meals to your studio in the next couple weeks. I believe you want them.
Absolutely.
Yes, for those long days where you don't have time to order out or cook for yourself, or you want to make it convenient, and that's what we do. We save people the time and the
I'm
trouble.
starving as it is.
Oh, bet you had a long day.
Talk about this, Eva. All right, so this is movie reviews and more. And what I've been really, really happy about with everybody is documentaries on everybody. We've been asking for this for years. And obviously, everybody knows. I think Ray kind of kicked it off, but a reality shows going back to us. It was an honor to interview Sharon and Ozzy back in the day, kicking off reality shows. And it was just about a time for everything going. So I recently saw Pink documentaries. And I'll tell you the reason why I liked it. Not only did Eva look cool talking about being the hired gun, which is the first time I've heard anybody say that. And I really like that you said that because a lot of people have never heard about that. But I knew she was going to be a good mom, but you got a chance to really see what her daughter was like. And that's what I really liked out of this. There's that great message. Talk about being on tour. And what was that like for you? Because that was a long ass tour, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're out for 2.5 years.
Whoa.
Oof.
Tour. And it's gosh, I've been there with her for 14 years now, and
Jeez.
I'm still one of the newest members of the band. I mean, it's a real tight unit, a real wonderful family vibe. Some of the crew has been there longer than I have.
I really like that aspect of things.
Yeah, and it starts from the top. I mean, she's the real deal. She's just really down to earth, and above it all, her family's number one, right? But it's like she calls it the traveling circus, right? We're all out there, and then sometimes when she's getting ready, like her daughter will come into the dressing room and hang out with us, or we kind of take turns just kind of looking out for the kids and hanging out with the kids. And one of the area lists is like training your daughter on, after sound checks, she's out there training on the stage, and it's just a really beautiful thing to be a part of. And we all take care of each other out there. It's really special.
I love how you're standing there. You look so cool standing there. That's the one thing I liked. I was like, and I couldn't take my eyes off you because you're just like playing like this. It reminded me of like Ron Wood in a way, because he would just like play. And I thought that, to me, that's really cool. It's like you know everything. You know exactly why you're there. You're what bass were you playing? You play a Fender?
Fender Precision.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting, but I had never heard this before. Playing with your fingers mainly, is that correct?
Mm-hmm, mostly, yeah.
Talk about that.
I mean, I play what's needed for the song. Usually I started playing with a pick, but nowadays I play mostly with my finger style. But I play upright as well, and sometimes the song calls for a bowed upright. Sometimes it's plucked. I do, and that's the thing with being a hired gun too. It's like you get into rehearsals, and the MD is like, "Can you play this on keyboard?" I play keyboard bass a lot of the time as well for some artists. So you just do what needs to be done. You say yes and figure it out.
I used to think the bass was so easy. Like when I was playing guitar, I was like, okay, God, I should just be able to play bass and sing and say that bass is you got those bass notes, which is simple and easy to do. But when you start getting like Eva, and you start playing and singing and doing all this shit at the same time, bass is crazy. Bass is really hard.
Singing at the same time too, it definitely is like a walking and chewing gum type of thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm still trying to figure out how you sing and play a guitar at the same time. I don't get it. That's why I became the drummer. Andrew, you were playing someplace this weekend. Talk about that.
Yeah.
And what is this right here you brought with you?
That's a little plug.
Show it to the girls. Show it to the audience.
This little thing. This is like a little. I was making friends with some Smurfs. Was it Smurfs or Smurfs?
Smurf guitar.
This is like a little baby mini Gibson guitar that Gibson have been making.
Does it actually play?
Ken doll at home.
Yes, my Ken doll.
Guitar only.
He brought me a Ken doll. Thank you, Chris. And no, these are just little guitars. They were little merch guitars that we were kind of putting together for when the I Am No Joke song comes out, because we're looking for little cute bits of merch for some of the artists to sign, and to raise money for the charity, because I thought it was so cute to have a little guitar.
Very cute.
Some people don't have space for a big guitar, or you can't play the guitar. I mean, this one sounds like shit, but I mean, it looks great, and you can put it on your dressing table. So.
And I can't get enough of this. Again, this is that 45. I mean, you don't even get these really anymore, do you? But this is signed. Tosh, you'd love this. This is signed. It's just really cool.
No, and I'm looking at the picture.
Andrew, talk about playing. What you played this weekend? What was that like?
Oh,
I went where?
The greatest gig I've ever played in my life, because it was in a shopping mall. and I've never done that. My friend who's an agent with the Whiskey A Go Go phoned me and said, "Hey, you haven't really been singing or playing the guitar much during COVID, because you can't do anything." And I'd noticed as a singer, not to get technical because I'm not, but my diaphragm on my body I was so out of shape, and I still am, but I couldn't really sing very well in the studio.
You were good 2 weeks ago. What happened?
Well, that was crap. Come on. If anyone watched that last week,
No,
I was
that was
so
not
tired.
crap.
That was the
great.
worst. But anyway, thank you for your brilliant lies. But I just wanted to play a mall because it was any gig. It was any gig. I'll play anywhere, mate. You know what I mean? And it's a bit weird when there's people walking past with Macy's bags and going to Nordstrom and stuff. But it was a chance to sing with a PA out loud and just play my guitar
And some great reverb and
and
echo.
some
inside there, I
loads of
bet, huh?
reverb. Yeah, as an Englishman, we use too much reverb. It sounds like you're in the shower or a very big shower. But that's why I did it. It was a good time for me. I got to play a lot of my songs that I hadn't played for a while and practice some new songs and get them wrong because not a lot of people are listening because they're walking, but people stop. And my favorite part about those gigs is the kids, because I think they're the best judges on the planet. A lot of kids would stop and watch and like dance and stuff, and that was fun.
They're pretty candid too, huh? They just look at you up and down and go,
Yeah, like, what are you wearing? What are you doing?
Let's go, mommy.
Why aren't you playing Shawn Mendes? What is going on? So I'm trying to push like John Denver to the kids, and change it and
That's
all
also a
sorts of
great
different
documentary
songs.
if you ever get a chance, and how he wrote his songs and why he ended up going to Denver.
Who, John Denver?
Absolutely.
I
if you
love
get a
John Denver.
chance.
I played a John Denver song on an acoustic guitar and turned it into like a Shawn Mendes song, and all the kids thought it was great. So I'm bringing John Denver back, man.
Good.
That was my mission.
Again,
really.
people need
That's
to
why I
know
played the
these
gig.
things like this. Linda Steele, when it comes to talk about your gym, talk about music that you like.
I have all different genres that I love, and I'm a huge 70s music fan. I've always loved Pitbull. I'm a big Megan Trainor fan. I mean, Sinatra, Neil Diamond. So it's hard to say what I love. Michael Jackson, of course. Uh, I like all kinds of music. I really do. I like pop, but I also love, I like country. I love rock. It just depends on my mood, honestly. And in the gym, I try to play a little bit of all of it. And I found that over time, you can't please everybody. So when I have members in and out, most people wear headsets, so they just, come with their own style. But there are a lot of people who don't, and it's hard to please everybody in the gym. So I just play a little bit of everything. You never know what's going to come next on my playlist.
So think about this. She's from Chicago. She had 2 gyms at one time. She's a woman. Imagine opening your gym. What was it? 5 o'clock in the morning in Chicago weather. Imagine that. Linda, talk about that.
Well, my members actually joke about it. Now that I just opened my gym again yesterday, brand new gym, they joke about how on the door it said 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And they all would joke that they were going to scratch it off and say about 5 or 5-ish, because it was really hard to get there at 5 a.m. on the dot every morning for all those years. So plenty of times I got there at maybe 3 after. I wound up giving a couple of my members a key and said, I know you guys will be on time because you have to get to work in the morning. So you go ahead and open and I'll get there at some point. But it was tough. It was tough. Especially in the winter, it's dark, it's cold. You don't want to get out of bed, and you've got to be live. I mean, you guys know what it's like. You're entertainers. You have to always be on. I'd have to walk in the door and be happy because everyone's there trying to get motivated. So it was not easy, but I managed.
There's no way I can handle that winter in Chicago.
Oh,
I mean, think about it.
I can't even handle winter here, let alone there.
Not fun.
Well, I guess people who know me know that I'm a fitness competitor, and I can't work out in the morning, Linda. I can't. It's not my thing. I like to do it later, in the evening. So I don't know how people do it.
When I would have my 5 and 6 a.m. clients, and it would be a leg day, I'm like, how are you even like? I need 1,000 calories in me before I could even think about doing legs. I can't imagine. Man, they're like, busting it out. Like, yep, gonna do legs and head off to work by 7 a.m. I don't know.
Roxy, let's show a couple pictures of our macrame meals.
There's our logo. Ooh, that was a good one.
Linda
That's a
and
buffalo chicken. That's my daughter, Kendall Joe.
doing things at the gym.
Micro-made meals.
Yeah,
So
so that was my daughter.
you guys
She's
know this. Now that everybody's gotten older and more mature, we have to work out. Whether it's our diaphragm, whether it's our mental health, everything like that, because you can't do it if you're not physically fit anymore. And Pink, perfect example of her working out or all the stuff that she was doing. And I'm just thinking of you just playing straight up like this again, being really cool. What does fitness mean to you?
I mean, on the road,
And eating right.
And all of those things mean, like, how do you sustain yourself and your energy on a 2.5 year tour, right? When you're in a different city, like like almost every day, especially during the winter, like all these different factors. How do you keep from burning out? And fitness is a thing, eating right is a thing, making sure. I mean, even like something as simple as staying hydrated. When you're
Yep.
traveling, like all those little things matter, and also like having some sort of a practice. A lot of us do yoga, meditation. Like, how do you start your day? I start my day with morning pages every morning. Some sort of journaling. Like, how do you stay grounded and present when you're always not grounded when you're away from your families, your friends. How do you maintain your sense of self, and also how do you remain a pleasant person out there, right? Because you're sharing small spaces with a lot of people, and how do you maintain those relationships on the road when it can be a challenge?
How did you handle COVID being locked down? What was that like for you?
It's the longest I've been home in over 20 years. I mean, I'd been touring for 20 years, so it was definitely an adjustment. But at the same time, I was like, oh, my niece and nephew know my name, my little niece and nephew. Like normally they're like, who is this strange person walking into mommy's house? Who's my sister, right? So you can't control the situation. You can only control your reaction to it, right? So that's something that I kept to heart, and just thought about the positive side of being home. I started engineering school, audio school, right? I hit the books. I saw it as an opportunity to like learn some new stuff that I wouldn't have time otherwise. Of course, family was a big thing. My family's here. The Cat and Fiddle, like keeping that place going with my family. So I was around, luckily, to help my mom and my two sisters keep the restaurant going. So all those things just made for an interesting experience, but just keeping your head above ground.
And Andrew, you talked about how tough that was, but you kept a lot of people going. Talk about that.
How do you mean? Kept a lot of people going.
Reaching out to those people who were a lot of people. Cyber Shock was living by himself.
Oh, right.
A military person, suffering from depression, coming back from that.
Yeah.
Talk about those things.
I mean, it was really difficult for me. I don't know. I think I've never been. I've always had to find new ways of dealing with depressive state of mind. I guess I don't know where it comes from. There's many different places, I guess, but I don't think I suffer with chemical depression, but definitely when put in this kind of a situation, I felt a lot, darker. There's a lot of sads. So my way of dealing with it was really just to check on other people and make sure everyone else was okay. And that would make me feel a bit better, and more of a community would happen in my own, in myself. But, yeah, I think with going to the gym and stuff like that, not that that was any part of your question, but I didn't do very well with that. I think, I'm working
You
on
did call me enough times to make sure I was okay, though.
Did I?
Yes,
I was working on my dad bod, Chris, and I think I don't know. I think like Eva said, when you're on tour, I feel so out of shape right now, and I feel like my voice, now I've got to like supercharge it because I'm back in the studio, and I'm just, my diaphragm, my body, I just feel slow. And I think that can add to depression as well. So I think, congratulations to all those who went out and stayed 6-9 feet apart and was doing hikes and walking about and just trying to keep a smile on your face. Really, I think that was part and parcel of being okay, was to, if you act okay, then you are okay sometimes.
And Chris, you don't go out that often. You were mainly working from home. So
Yeah,
what was
COVID's
different for you?
Nothing. I've been quarantined for the last 25 years by myself, having full-on conversations by myself. Nothing's changed really. I've kind of thrived on it.
I remember you laughing at me during COVID because when they closed the gyms down, and I know that me and Linda had this conversation, I had to put my competing off for a year because I couldn't really get the correct workouts in. But I called Brian. I go, I don't know what I'm going to do because my whole is being able to go to the gym every day. So
Mhm.
I went out and bought all this gym equipment. He's just laughing at
Yeah,
me
did
because
you guys see all the gym rats buying equipment online? Because
Yep.
I would joke about this to them for years. I was laughing at every single one of them.
Mhm.
Linda, you could test. You started working people out in your garage, didn't you?
I did. I kept my clients going. Some of them didn't want to because they were afraid of COVID, but I had some that were all about it. And I did order some things online, and I pivoted. I pivoted and I learned how to do things the way, old school.
Yeah, because I
And
remember when this thing first happened, I was trying to find a barbell to do deadlifts with, and I couldn't find them. They were all sold out, and I was freaking out, calling Brian out. I can't find this. And he's like, "You'll be okay." You'll live. I'm like, "No, I can't go to the gym. I have to work out." So it was like a mental thing for
it
us.
sure is. It sure is. It is. And again, if you don't eat right, that's half the
Mhm.
battle. That's half the battle. You have to eat right. And that was the one thing that I tried to do every day, even though I didn't feel like it, even though I was also down in the dumps like everybody else. I was losing a business. I was, a lot of change was going on. But you pivot and you reinvent yourself and you make it happen.
Linda, give your social media links real quick. We got about 5 minutes.
Instagram is Linda Steele Fitbod, and Twitter is Linda Steele Hot One. And Linda Steele Hot Bod, you can find that anywhere.
Are you wearing shoes? What shoes are you wearing?
I'm not wearing shoes, Brian. I just got done from the gym.
She has
I
a
have
whole
sweat socks
closet
on.
full of shoes, and her fans around, and we'll pick her shoes out for him sometimes.
I have a whole room, floor to ceiling shelves of all 6-inch heels. They're awesome.
Trixe, go ahead.
Yeah, you can find me at customtrends.tv, and I'm right now doing a whole lot of transitioning and doing a lot of more work for international. So be sure and tune in, because we will be back in Monaco this October for Sportel, for the Sportel Awards and Media Convention.
And she's a silver winner and a bronze winner for her custom trims on Amazon Prime. We have to always throw that in there. Very, very
Yes,
important.
absolutely.
Very, very creative woman. Tosh.
And well, you can find me at Vocally Tosh on Instagram and Facebook, and then my website, NatashaRumbosmusic.com.
And her songs are really catchy. I like her songs. I mean, I have to say, she turned me on to Latin music.
Definitely check out
actually watching her
if you
start
guys
off,
look
that
up.
was like new to me.
I'm gonna check it out.
Ah, you might have a new follower, Tosh.
Oh, you will have a new follower, Tosh.
All right, Chris. Social media links. What else are you working on?
Well, right now I kind of go in tandem with my son Sage. I work on the music, and then I pass him on over to him because he's really good at the videos. So we're kind of like in tandem. But right now I'm doing it's a rock album, actually a couple of rock singles with this group Elijah Rising Elijah, and I got a country song coming out. This guy Chris Michaels, it's EALS. His mom ruined his career by putting the E before the A on that Michaels. And then I'm doing a pop song. It's kind of Selena Gomez meets Nathasha Bedingfield with this girl. She's Rosita Stone from Canada. So I got quite a few things, but the one I'm really excited about is just released. I had an interview a few weeks ago, and we released a minute and a half of this missing Chester Bennington and Slash song that they had done 10 years ago. And then I found the session doing some cleaning a couple of years ago, and I sent it to Slash. I was like, "Hey, you remember this song?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Dude, we got to reproduce this." He's like, "Simmer down, slow down. Let me get a hold of Chester's wife and see if she wants to do it." And she was like, "Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." She wanted to release it the way it was, with me playing drums on the keyboards. It's just a shitty sound. So I ended up, I just said, "Just simmer down. Let me just redo it." So I reproduced it and played the drum. Got the program the drums, played the bass. Probably not as good as Eva, but played the bass and finished the song. So and we just been sitting on it again, just waiting for them to release it. So they gave me permission to release a minute of it a few weeks ago. So hopefully that lights a fire under everybody's ass, and it gets released, because she was talking about releasing it for the 320 Changes Directions, which is a mental health foundation, which right now is probably pretty vital to a lot of people's futures. You know, in between with the no joke and the mental health and the COVID, it's just the perfect time to do it. You know, to release it.
And Andrew,
I'm going to plug your son, think
Plug
it's
it.
fantastic.
Plug it, baby.
Sage Flores on was it Sunburst Films on Instagram? You should check out his music videos. He's been making some crazy music videos. I've watched this kid grow up. I know I sound like an old person.
He just
since
did
you
the
were like
video.
really small, but he came in and did talking about the vinyl. He showed up and filmed me getting my first vinyl made. I've been seeing some crazy stuff. So
he shot this video for this group Suspect 208, which was Slash's son on the drums. It was Scott Whalen's son on the vocals, and it was Metallica, Chris Trujillo's son on the bass. It was just this crazy rock group, and they just did an amazing video. But you know how
he's fantastic. I've got to get him to do one of my new music videos.
I've
got a song coming out called Bullets. Finally, with again the LA favors of George Pahone Jr. from the Black Eyed Peas, but I think no offense to the Peas, but more importantly, he's in a band called Cairo Knife Fight with Nick Gaffney, who sings and plays drums, and it's just a 2-piece band, kind of like Royal Blood, but way better. And no offense to Royal Blood, but you guys are amazing. But this is George Pahone on guitar and Nick Gaffney on drums. So Nick played drums on the new song Bullets, which will be out in a little bit. And of course, the I Am No Joke Bully song is going to come out this year finally, with 75 musical icons on it. So that should be a good thing.
That's like, here's Slash on the solo. Beep.
Yeah, everyone sings a syllable now. There's so many people.
Yes, so I actually have my a record coming out as well this year on vinyl, and it's a 6-song EP, and you can find stuff I've already released out on Spotify, just under my name, Spotify, iTunes Music, wherever you find your music online. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Eva Gardner, website evagardner.com, and happy to be here.
And check out the Pink documentary. It's very, very good. That's my movie pick of the week.
On Amazon.
Exactly.
Everything is Terri Marie Nonstop on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then TikTok, where I do mostly stuff to the 80s, 90s, and 2000 rock, as I'm a rocker at heart. So that's my forte. And I'm training right now for a fitness show, so I'm going to be posting about that on my website, which is terrymarieofficial.com.
And I want to thank everybody's fans who chimed in. Linda's, Chris's, Andrew's, Eva's, everybody's on there. And I always say this: if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours, because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. Thanks for chiming in for us this week. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.